matchup is that it's one that goes the distance, and as the set progresses, you see those reads get bigger and bigger, right? Like the whole game one is about getting that early information.
Yeah, we're seeing incredibly early good spacing from Blaze, getting multiple D-lights and just keeping them stuck away. But every time Zyder gets in, he's gotten at least a 3-piece or follow-up. Good chase right there just to go for the neutral lights. So this has been incredibly close so far. Immediate closeout though. Blaze getting a really good early kill. I like the way that he kind of covered it. So far this Mordex looking good.
Yeah, that was really clean. Just kind of slip off the stage. Immediate ground pound on top of Zyder. Zyder had a very interesting follow-up there. He had a GC downlight, and then he went for a falling, I think, side air or a landing neutral light. It was very awkward to watch.
Yeah, and like that's gonna be bad when you're whiffing directly in front of Scythe like that. That's just free chases afterwards. We've already seen these D-lights. Finally gets a dodge on one to avoid.
Oh, got the read.
So good. There we go. Does close it out.
Yeah, really smart from Zyder there. Saw the dodge down read, got the end light, able to follow up with the recovery, and that pretty much evened it up.
Yeah, no, what so far, like with Blaze playing pretty well, we've been talking about a lot about Blaze. What is it you want to see out of Zyder to potentially just kind of cruise with this W so far? Because we know the burst range that Katars have, but you cannot overcommit too much, especially in front of Mordex.
I mean, one of the big things here is like just that standardized, right? Like you have Blaze, a longtime competitor, Zyder, kind of under in terms of seeding. Like, so you want to see that burst out early. You want to see Zyder walk away with game one, and with the way that he's getting these Katar strings, I think he's very capable of taking it.
Yeah, and Zyder running in hot too did get top 8 at BCX, so this is somebody who is trying to put their name out there and like tell people like, hey, I'm here to stay at the bottom of the blast zone instead, because Blaze is the one saying absolutely not, you will not be getting that new time on the block in front of me today.
Love the matchup knowledge there. Of course, we've seen so many Asuryas utilize that gravity cancel neutral signature to reverse the situation, and Blaze is like, I've got the range advantage. A good weapon toss from Zyder, though, and we're back to even.
Sometimes simplicity is key. D-Light Sarah, just to get that stage position, you get that early jump because they panicked, and then all of a sudden we're back to an even game.
Yeah, this is what we usually see from the Asuryas and the Sentinels out there, is like great damage build on the Katars, and then swap to the other weapon for that clean KO tool.
Yeah, and the Blaze is not pumping the brakes whatsoever. Going for multiple big jump reads, trying to get recovery hits just to push Zyder back off stage, because I think that's where the most comfortable, but great Sig gets that stage position.
Yeah, went for the recovery there, trying to catch the movement. Zyder had just enough to get above it, but damage being done, the icicles connect, and Blaze takes game number one.
You always have to fear it. We all been hit by it. Just waiting for that one big read, and Blaze, I think Blaze kind of let it be known on that last stock after losing that stock to Zyder. Like, I'm not going to let you get momentum here. I'm going to swing big. We saw multiple Sigs actually connect. That one closing it out there at the end. Incredible positioning for it too, because right in that spot, you're not taking a big punish there. If you do happen to whiff, you're most likely taking a dare, and then you have to take the guess after.
Yeah, really smart from Blaze. Kind of threw it out raw, but had the footsies right before it, and Zyder was not ready to react. There we go, game number 2, same map. Not too surprised to see, again, Zyder had some great moments in the last one.
Yeah, I don't think that stage switch needed to be the thing here. They both had good back and forth between neutral exchange wins. It went to last stock, near KO % for both. It's just that Blaze just overwhelmed you at the end. We're seeing very good stage control here and good movement bait so far from Zyder, almost catching him on the jump.
Making the swap over to the Katars. Wants to get some more damage built up. All right. I like the 2-piece and a good jump out or a dodge up from Blaze, and Zyder wasn't ready for it. He was expecting the dodge down.
Oh, that's a big whip punish. Do you get anything out of this here? Trying to back off, but Zyder aggressive off stage. I like it. Not going to take the ground pound like what happened in game 1.
Yeah, doesn't want to hang on the wall too long. It is a short wall, so it's harder to react to those instant ground pounds. The down sig connects. Needs to get one more hit.
Oh, just misses the Sarah, but just look at the way Zyder is spacing out on Blaze. He's consistently movement baited away from him. D-Light recovery will take it off the top, and that is going to be Zyder striking first.
Yeah, much better footsies coming out from Zyder here in game number 2. I like the utilization of the sword, right? Like, we always talk about how these stories want to lean into the Katars, but you got to have some great sword fundamentals, and that's what we're seeing from Zyder.
Exactly, especially against something like the Scythe. Once you see that big opener, you see that D-Light whiff, like, go in, get in as quick as possible, and that is not going to be able to happen here, because once again, Blaze finds that edge guard. He's been so consistent with that so far in the set.
Yeah, just shutting down that stock immediately, getting side air after side air. Going into the second stocks, Blaze with the Scythe again. Haven't seen those big extended Scythe strings, but been able to get damage.
I think that's the one thing that he's kind of been lacking so far, because his neutral game's been good, his simple punish game's been good, but we haven't seen those big nair chasers. We haven't seen anything out of that. I think it's mostly because he realizes if he puts himself directly above Zyder and that Asuri potential pressure, it's going to be a bad time. So maybe he's not a little afraid to commit to it right now.
Yeah, hasn't been pulling the trigger on those reads. Side sig thrown out. Zyder throughout the neutral signature would have been scary if it connected. Good down air from Blaze, but he can't follow up.
And it's going to be a KO off the top there, coming in from Zyder. Once again, striking first on the next stock. That is so crucial, because when it came to that last game, Blaze was always the one who found it, and then they went to the end. So the way that this is being played out, it's incredibly close. I understand why the set count between these two is 2-2. Oh, and that is going to be something. Age-old saying, we take those, especially when money's on the line. And for Zyder, you're happy about that because that puts you up 1 game apiece.
That was so good from Zyder, because Blaze, you saw the sweat beads. Like when we get to that final stock replay, the sweat beads were so early, and he didn't get to touch back down. When he whiffed that down air, it was done.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where like greed kind of seems like a good idea here, because you know they're thinking you want to get back immediately. Problem was though, just misspaced it. No more Mordex though. We're done with that. The real business has showed up. We're gonna see the Ogrim show here in game number 3.
I like the swap, not just because I like the classics, but more so because he wasn't getting the big side strings that we wanted. He wasn't getting the big gauntlet reads that we would want from something like a Mordex. So going to something a little bit more simple, getting the hit after hit, should work out well for him.
Exactly, especially in these positions like this. You're talking before about the range that Axe has. You decide to chase me off stage too much because I know you want it. You are going to get reverse edge guarded quite a few times, so Zyder's got to be careful.
Nice down signature. Blaze, a little bit behind in the damage department, but you're seeing him, he's able to trade out a little bit more effectively. But man, Zyder already knowing the matchup, he is getting more hits, more aggression. Goodness. 1 hit away from it, and he's going to help Blaze out, but he got damage.
Consistently whiff punishing over and over again. That was such a well-placed GCD light Sarah from before, and then taking it out with the unarmed recovery off the top. This I think just the way that Zyder's been spacing so far between game 2 and 3 now, he kind of understands when Blaze wants to go in.
Yeah, really good footsies coming out from Zyder, being able to kind of backdash the approaches from Blaze, and he's got a pretty nice stock here. He's got some room to play with against this this Lance from Blaze.
Yeah, this is where you need to get that big damage on. You're like having access to this Lance. It's going to be easier to like zone break a bit with those sidelights, but we do see an immediate bait on that. Doesn't really get too much, just neutralites, but it's a mentality thing. And now back to the sword. It's just looking so good for Zyder.
Okay, a nice punish from Blaze on the whiffed end sig. But like you said, things looking really good for Zyder, and finally Blaze has got his weapons in order, right? Like you want to do the Lance early and then make the swap to the X. That's what we saw work out very well for Machete. Yeah,
now one thing that can be a factor here is that Blaze has been into position a few more times by comparison to Zyder. One thing that does come to factor is the consistency of being able to hold yourself together in high portions of bracket. Blaze may be behind right now, only a little bit in damage, but Zyder's mix-ups are only going to work for so long against him. Granted, D-Light recovery does take it off the top. Zyder's got to make sure he keeps this going. Once Blaze figures it out, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if Zyder ends up closing out this one, he only has to win 1 more game. So Blaze really needs to find the adjustment quick. At the Lance again, needs to get this stock.
Good
light and air read. Oh, Zyder gets outside of the end sig.
That was so close. The confidence in Blaze right now. There it is. Look at him. He's spacing out away from all this. He knows he wants to commit first, trying to catch him with the GC sig off the top, but Zyder not falling for it.
Okay, turn around. The down air not really going to work out for him. Ground pound misses.
See if that comes back to bite him, because Blaze has had, prior to that moment, hadn't been hit in so long, but gave up stage position. This has allowed Zyder to do what Sword does best. Keep that spacing out. There's another GCD light Sarah. But gives up stage position now too, unarmed. That's going to come through, and that's going to find the KO.
No, but Zyder got so much damage off of that. The second Blaze was stuck on the corner, unarmed. Zyder had so much that he got off of it.
Yeah, Zyder is a swinging right now too. Unarmed finally gets access to guitars. We've seen that these Zyder's been consistent in finding that recovery KO read over and over again. So Blaze is pretty much forced to play grounded right now.
Yeah, Blaze, he's got to be careful about this one. But the down sig and Blaze is out of there. Zyder up 2-1.
Zyder doing incredible here in these last 2 games. By comparison to game 1, it was all Blaze who was the one who was staying just out of the comfort zone. Here, even with the switch to the Ogrim though, albeit very close, you saw once stage position was given up, when Blaze had like a solid 30 seconds of not being hit, it went right back to Zyder. Zyder was so consistent with the damage on that, and now we're going to see the switch up to the Koji.
This is an interesting one. Koji, we've seen Blaze play a little bit of Koji. I think generally it ends up being against Akno when he pulls it out. We'll see how well it works out, but more importantly, I like the map swap. He's just not winning on Demon Island anymore, so he's got to change it to something different.
Yeah, I think having access to 2 different landing platforms are going to help you a lot here, because the amount of times that you got caught repeatedly by the landings from Zyder were so good, but the spacing game now, you want to space me out about a character length? Now I have access to Bow, so this is going to be a lot better here, potentially for Blaze in game number 4.
Yeah, unfortunately for Blaze, like the predominant way to approach with Bow is for that dash-in downlight, right? But Zyder can kind of sit on these soft platforms if he wants to, kind of bait them out and just be high above it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like how this game moves forward. What is it about this counter pick on this stage in particular that you think Blaze needs to make happen to get this W here up against Zyder, who's just been so good at just consistently punishing anytime he tries to approach?
Well, I can tell you what I think Blaze wants to happen, which is a lot more neutral wins. That's what he's playing for with the swap to the Koji, is get those neutral wins. You've got a lot of safety with that high dexterity that Koji brings to the table, and a nice recovery from underneath. Blaze able to go up over Zyder, but he needs to get that extra credit.
Yeah, that's a confidence reversal right there. Getting that recovery off the top. You need to get that damage on. Sword is exactly what you need for it. Already keeping him stuck. There you go. Get that consistent damage. Getting another Sair follow-up after the recovery, too. This is working really well. It's getting to the point where it's even getting close where he might lap him percent. Zyder's got to work for this KO.
Yeah, I really like the decision off that soft platform to go for the D-Light recovery. Generally, the Dare is my favorite follow-up off of it, but that's only if you're grounded, so you can get that bounce off-stage opportunity. Blaze goes in. He can't get the wall touch, but he needs to get the stock. Zyder gets around it, recognizes the situation. Good movement to make sure that he doesn't get caught.
That could have been such a different story being told right now. We could have seen 3 stocks up to 1 if Zyder found it, but even after losing that stock, it was deep in the red, so it's one of those things like, okay, I was going to eventually lose this anyways, but now how do you rebound from here? Zyder got stage position back, got access to the Katars, need to make sure you don't do anything ridiculous because he could get that damage on.
Okay, just a recovery in the center of the stage coming out from Blaze. Again, throwing out these recoveries. The recoveries from the sword have been working pretty well for him. D-Light Dare, nice follow-up, getting extra the side sig. Blaze looking good.
Absolutely beautiful plays there from Blaze, just closing it up, looking on fire right now. This Koji switch is absolutely making this matchup work right now.
Yeah, the sword really playing into it. Usually when you see someone swap to the Koji, it's like, okay, now I have this bow, I have this long-range thing. That's what we started talking about at the start of this game, but really, it's the sword coming out from Blaze, but Zyder's about to even this one up. One more hit, could have done it, but Blaze able to avoid it.
Yeah, that was so close right there. Zyder consistently just looking for the one early aggressive approach to get that SIG KO, and he's just throwing them out repeatedly, just kind of haphazardly at this point, and that can get a little obvious, but Blaze not falling for it so far. Tried to get that chase dodge read there with the recovery, not going to get it.
Zyder really taken into that mentality of missing 100% of the shots you don't take, so all he's doing is shooting with the heavy button. Finally finds a hit, and that's enough. It hit early enough that Blaze didn't get a big lead.
If you believe hard enough in your buttons, they will hit every single time. So he finally finds it there, and this is an incredibly scary position for Blaze because now you have access to the bow, but that is Katars on the other side. Once you commit with that D-Light, you're going to have to deal with a really quick burst in from a Sori, but has him controlled at the ledge. Can he get him? No, he does get the center stage.
What? D-Light Zyder's the other direction. Blaze maybe not having confidence that the D-Light was going to hit, but still finding connections. Doesn't have him quite in KO percent. Zyder can fight back into this.
I think Blaze needs to get back to sword as quick as possible. We're seeing some decent spacing, but we're not seeing that same confidence in punish game. There it is. There you go. Immediate access. Now you were boxing so well.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that. You could see he was kind of stuck on the bow, no weapon spawns, and he didn't want to be left unarmed, but the second a weapon spawned, threw away the bow, went over to the sword, doesn't quite have him in D-Light recovery range. Zyder knows it, and so he's playing around these facts, getting that damage added up. Oh, D-touch. Blaze gonna take game number 4. We saw the sweat beads, and we knew it was it. And now we got a game 5.
I'm so happy for it. I love when we get these game 5 moments. And all of that came on the fact that at the very end, Zyder broke on that last stock, decided instead of trying to fight center stage, get a couple of quick strings in, you have it, you have access to very easy damage with sword, instead decided to go for big recovery reads. That gave up way too many resources, and the moment Blaze saw those sweat drops, it's GG.
Yep, the second he got that single hit that denied the touch, that was all Blaze needed. And really a lot of that came off of like this situation, right? It started off even in those final stocks, and then Blaze got just enough of a damage lead that it put the pressure on Zyder, and Zyder's like, I have to get back into this. I got to make sure that I'm staying even with my opponent, and that pressure was a little too much. He started getting a little over-aggressive, started making a couple of wrong decisions, and Blaze took full advantage.
Yeah, and once you see that over-aggressive play, the better players are going to understand how to properly control that. But these two very even so far. We're seeing this game 5. We're taking a second to even figure out where we're going to commit to on the character here when it comes to this final game. But I think that this last one is going to go down to the last stock, last hit. That was so close throughout the entirety of that. And although we saw a lot of really good sword strings coming in from Blaze at the end, he had access to platforms to be able to do a lot of that pressure to keep it up. Now, no longer access to Crystal Temple. I believe I saw, yep. So we're going to get, you have platform only momentarily here, but that flat stage is exactly where we saw Zyder dominating on Demons earlier.
Absolutely. And one thing I wanted to point out about the numbers of that last one is that you saw a lot more sword damage coming out from Zyder. He was not able to get those guitar strings onto Blaze, but might not need it. Oh man, what a fight back from Blaze, the N-Sig as well, and Zyder's still keeping the pressure going.
These hands are ready to eat for everybody. They are fighting everyone off stage right now, almost catching up. Oh, the Gate does get the wall touch, and Zyder just barely misses the ground pound, trying to go for an early KO. I am loving the fact these two are scrapping already. Now, sword duel.
What an explosive start to game number 5. They know how valuable it is to stay in the winner's side of the bracket. Blaze, sword in hand. This is a thing that worked so well for him in game number 4 to get it to game number 5, but Zyder's got a sword of his own.
Yeah, nobody wants to be going down there when you have the names like Swada, Ninja, I believe Pavelski might be down there potentially too. Like, I got to take a look at that bracket, but we're going to be looking at the first stock going in favor here for Zyder.
Yeah, really good spacing there from Zyder. You saw the backdash down sig as Blaze was coming up over the corner, and now Zyder, opportunity to get that extra credit. Guitars against unarmed works pretty well most of the time, but Blaze finds a bow spawn.
Yeah, luckily bow spawn getting over. That's the first attempt we've seen at the D6 trying to catch a jump in, but because it's been a bit of reserve there. You know what? First one didn't work. Try again. We talked about it before. Believe in those buttons.
Yeah, you just got to press it harder on the second time. But Blaze, he's still taking the brunt of the damage. Going to deny the weapon. You don't see him even taking it away. Instead, he's trying to cover it, trying to trap Zyder. But Zyder, he has the sword.
And Zyder is scrapping at that too. Every time we've seen him get pushed into the corner, it hasn't worked. But one thing that has been very obvious is how often Blaze tries to move Zyder over to that platform. Now that it's gone, he realizes he hasn't been able to beat him in neutral as much. That was a great dodge. That was about to be a big problem there for Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze is lucky Zyder opted for the side sig instead of the down sig. Side sig reaches further and has more of a dead space close to him, whereas the down sig hits close and Blaze got through it. Zyder's still finding hits though. Another signature, and Blaze could be going down to his final stock here.
There we go, going for weapon toss, forcing him low, does get back to access, so now you have the KO consistency, you have Delight here. Delight recovery, straight up recovery is going to do it though. Blaze sitting on his last stock here, seeing Zyder commit to the sword. I like it. I think it's worked a lot better so far in game here in game 5, because you said it early, Katars haven't worked nearly as much since the Koji swap. Yeah,
Blaze just has an answer to the Katars for now, but still, Zyder doesn't have to worry about that answer because he's got such a lead mounting. Blaze needs to find the KO.
And you already pulled out the hat trick before too with the D-Sig. You hadn't done that all prior, so now that's going to be in the back of Zyder's mind. You have to get it, and there we go. Gets the KO. We're going to last stock apiece here in game number 5.
Couldn't ask for a closer match for this one. Game 5, final stocks, Blaze versus Zyder. Blaze can't deny the weapons. He's not covering them hard enough.
Absolutely not, and that's going to be so crucial here. You see Blaze just trying to find that big opener. There we go, but boxing right back is Zyder. Big punish on the dodge, though.
In that slight lead over Zyder.
I'm actually kind of surprised Zyder decided to switch off on there. I thought he was just going to stick with the sword the entire way through, but believing harder in the Katars right now, and it's working.
Got one dodge read, N-Light into the recovery, N-Sig misses, and Blaze has the punish.
That's a lot of resources going in aggressive there to avoid a recovery attempt off the top.
Ooh. Didn't utilize the soft platform there. Didn't expect to bounce the way that it did. Blaze, ooh. D-Light recovery, and Blaze takes it. Game number 5 over Zyder.
Incredible swap here to the Koji. It worked out. The characters they had before. I think the big thing was the speed and the end lag from Ogrim was just too easy for a Sori to punish. But the switch up here to the Koji, it necessarily wasn't even the bow, it was just the sword. The sword being able to actually box and show I could contest with you too worked incredibly well there for Blaze to take it out, but that was moments away.